Hi, I'm Katie Cat, and this is our Astro Tarot. We have several cards for today, and before I jump into them, I just want to thank the people who have been reaching out to me to let me know that they appreciate my daily videos, or I should say weekly videos, in the last couple of months or so. I dropped down from my daily videos to weekly videos because it was just taking a lot of time away from my productivity in my life for me to upload them, and that prevents me from earning a living. So I've been really considering if it is something that is worthwhile for me to continue to do. So if you are interested in receiving daily videos as opposed to weekly videos or bi-weekly videos, or even if you do appreciate them as weekly videos and would like to make a contribution to the creation of these videos, I would greatly appreciate it. And I will leave the links below if you are able to make a donation to the cause, so to speak, because I have been considering where I could be putting my time that would be more fruitful for my life. Now, in regard to today's readings, I'm going to jump in with this opening card of the Knight of Swords. Now, this is very telling that something is still up in the air, and there's something that we've been considering in our minds that we want to do that's very idealistic. You know, it's not necessarily grounded in reality. We're just up in the air and things are very much flowing. And so we have to ask ourselves, if we have this great idea or something that we want to accomplish, what does that look like? And what does it take to actually see it through? Nothing is quite settled yet just by having an idea, right? We can create or feel rather a very strong force of encouragement when we can get an idea or inspiration. But as long as it just lives in the mind, it's never going to be reality. And so this card is kind of asking us to come to task with that. Like, what still is in process that we need to put into form by making more grounded. Now, our challenge today is the Ten of Wands. We have this person who's carrying many sticks along their journey in life, and it's the doaholic. It's the person who has a lot of things to do and a lot of things to accomplish and a lot of things on their plate. But the concern is when we live this lifestyle of doing a lot, if we actually can see where we're going, if we can actually see even the path in front of us, you know, that is the challenge, because sometimes, you know, it's a crystallized sense of this matter of the things that we have to do that are actually preventing us from doing what we feel is necessary and what we feel called to do. Now, also consider that if you have this great idea of something that you want to bring into the world, you may feel overwhelmed by all the things that you have to do that are taking precedence over being able to put your time and energy toward that. And so it's asking you if all of these wands that you're carrying are actually essential. Are they something that you have to do, or is it something that you're just doing because someone else tells you that they want you to do it, right? And we see that when we're pressed in life around time constraints or resource constraints, that a lot of the things that we feel like we need to move towards aren't necessarily as important as the things that are commanding for our attention. So this is the challenge today, and it's asking us which of these sticks we can actually lay down so that we can actually walk forward more purposely and have in our sight where we're actually going, because this person does not. Now, the way that we're going to get through the challenge came in as the Knight of Pentacles. So we have two knights that came in today. We have the Knight of Swords and the Knight of Pentacles, and they're very interesting energies to compare to one another. The Knight of Pentacles is someone who moves slowly and sets a pace of taking care of practical matters and practical things. They make sure they cross their T's and dot their I's and move in a very purposeful way. And so it's asking us to be grounded. You know, if you feel like you're overwhelmed with all the things that you have to do, what is the first thing that you can tend to? And when you tend to that, you'll have one less thing to tend to, and you can move to the next thing. But you can't jump over your knees, as my teacher used to always say. You have to have a pace of making an effort to work through things. And so in a lot of ways, it's telling us to slow down and move forward more in a grounded, slow pace rather than super fast, which isn't always what we want to do, right? Especially if we have this great idea or thing that we have our sights on that we want to accomplish. Now, the overall outcome for the day came in as the Devil card. This is a major arcana, which is signaling two things. It's signaling the sign of Capricorn and the planet of Saturn. We have Pluto over in Capricorn in retrograde right now. And Pluto has been in Capricorn since 2008. Saturn is over in Aquarius right now, coincidentally enough, in an opposition with Venus, which is actually in a close square to Uranus. So we have this T-square going on by way of Saturn, Venus, Uranus, and then we also have this energy of Pluto that is coming in with this card. And what I think that's saying to us is to consider the limitations that we pose on ourselves, right? The Devil card, we see these two people who are holding on to some kind of gear, which is some kind of cycle. They both have loose chains that are placed around their neck, and above them is kind of like this donkey-like creature that has two serpents whispering into their ear, and an upside-down pentacle with the view of the mountain inside of it. And so it's signaling this message around what we do and what we are a slave to in our lives that is really self-imposed, right? Because these people have the ability to remove the chain off of their neck because it's not a very tight chain, right? But they choose not to. And so that's why it is speaking to this self-imposed limitation. So if you feel like, you have to say yes to everyone that asks you to do something, for instance, but that energy keeps you from putting your energy and effort towards things that are actually important to your own well-being, that would be considered a self-imposed limitation. And it's interesting because we have Pluto up in Capricorn, and Capricorn is the sign of our life path and our journey and our reputation that we hold in front of others and the legacy that we leave behind. And so it's asking us, to transform something around that. And we've been going through this shaping and molding process ever since Pluto entered into Capricorn in 2008. And during its time in that sign, there's other planets that have come upon meeting with it, right? And we experienced that in a great shift that happened in the beginning of 2020 when we had this stellium, or also known as a conjunction of several planets, happening in the sign of Capricorn in January of 2020, which caused a really big shift, particularly when Mars came into that conjunction in March of 2020. So we're all going through this transformation process, and a lot of the pressure that we've been experiencing in life is something that's been molding us, much like the pressure of the earth creates a diamond just through the element of carbon, right? Like, what does pressure and friction bring out of you? And so it's something that we have to look at, right? And unfortunately, a lot of the times the mind will pick us over for these self-imposed limitations and kind of beat us up for it, which can be in many ways debilitating from us being able to move forward in any kind of productive way. And yet, if we can take a couple steps back from that and gain some perspective, we can see where it's actually practical to put our efforts and where it can be counterintuitive to where we actually want to go. I did pull an additional card for us just for clarity's sake, and I received the Eight of Swords, which is similar energy to this Devil card, but it's not a major arcana. So this is a minor arcana, and we see this person who looks bound and blindfolded, and they're surrounded by these 8 swords. And so there's this signaling of being restricted by how we see things in the mind and feeling like we can't really do anything about our situation. It's also pointing out that if this person tries to escape from this situation, but they're very seriously bound, there's a lot of wasted energy in that struggle. And so it's causing us and calling us to look at where we expend energy that isn't helping us. And it's asking us to have faith in a lot of ways, because we see this sun breaking the cloud in the background, much like, honestly, this sun is breaking the clouds behind me, which is reminding us that things are still in motion, right? Especially because this is a number 8 card. It's signaling this quality and variable of time and how time plays into things. So it's, in a lot of ways, a message around faith and hopefulness and understanding that the situation that you're in will improve in time. It's just a matter of time for things to be worked out. Now, also consider where we spend the time that we have up in the realm of the mind and the realm of thoughts, and thoughts that might be defeating by way of where we, spend our day. Because if you look in your day and where you put your energy and what records you spend around the mind, what is the context of those, right? Are you singing songs in your head of woes? Are you singing songs in your head of gratitude? Are you singing songs in your head of hopefulness? These are all things that it's causing us and calling us to look at. And it's important to consider that where we place the mind plants seeds in a lot of ways. And so I encourage people that if you feel like you are in a place of limitation, can you see beyond that, right? Like if I am in this valley and I'm looking at one piece of ground and I see it as barren or unfruitful, do I just need to take a couple of steps back to see that it's in a cycle, it's in a process, and what can I bring to it that will add something to the process by way of thinking in a new way and thinking in a new perspective? Because we see that this person is in a lot of ways bound by their mind and the way that they see things. So I think the message that we're all getting through the reading from today is to consider, if you feel the call to create something in your life or to do something that you feel like is a grand idea and may be considered idealistic in a lot of people's points of view, also consider where you feel limited and where you feel bound and restricted in creating that, and how your energy that you put in your day actually lends more energy to that. And perhaps on the other side of the coin, how letting go of some of those thoughts or ways of seeing things provides an opportunity to see things in a new way, which actually can bring you closer to that which you want to create. But it commands for us to have our feet on the ground and to put our energy and time towards practical efforts in order for us to actually forge the path. I send you all a good wish today. I hope you're well. I am taking clients now for readings. We have horses around and people aren't necessarily cleaning up after them. So there's a lot more flies around than usual, which is kind of gross. But it is what it is, which is why you're seeing all the flies fly around. Meh. Anyway, I hope you all are having a blessed day and that you are You know, making sure you put your energy and time towards things that are bearing you fruit rather than things that are mentally just beating you up. Take care. I'll see you again soon. Bye for now.